So we're in step 5, the very final step of the fiancé visa process. That is what I will be talking with you about here in today's video. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana of Immigration for Couples, and my firm is dedicated exclusively to helping couples across the nation and across the world in navigating the U.S. immigration process. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to use the link below to subscribe to our channel so you're updated when new videos are released. I regularly post content as I know how important it is for you to have updated information and support in your immigration journey. Please also be sure to check out and follow our Facebook page, Immigration for Couples. I host weekly live immigration attorney chats, and it's an opportunity for you to ask me your questions live, and I will answer them live, so you won't want to miss that. So let's talk about step 5, the final step in the fiancé visa process. If you haven't watched the other 4 steps, you'll want to be sure to check those out so you have clarity on the entirety of the process. Step 5 is really the USCIS interview, where both of you as a couple attend that interview. It's at that interview that immigration will be asking you questions about your relationship and how you met, and they'll also be asking the immigrant beneficiary questions about their immigration history, travel history, etc. I do want to mention that this dreaded interview, I know a lot of couples really get nervous and dread the idea of going in and being questioned about your relationship, rightfully so. But I do want to mention that we are seeing here in 2024 that immigration has decided really to waive a lot of interviews if they think that the file, that the application is strong enough on its own and they don't have any other questions. So we've had many clients, most of our clients have their interview waived because we are providing immigration with such a strong application, and we have throughout the process. So they can see this relationship is real, the immigrant beneficiary meets all the requirements. And so I do want to make sure I mention that. But interviews are discretionary. The immigration officer can decide, you know what, I do have some questions. I want to call this couple in. So understand, while we are seeing interviews being waived, they can still call you in for an interview. So step 5 is going to be that USCIS interview. And in a separate video, I talk about important tips, what you should know for your immigration interview, what you should avoid, and the questions that they will ask you. So, be sure to check out those videos as well. And I'll give you some more detailed information here and in this video as well. So if immigration decides to call you in for an immigration interview, they will send you that notification in writing. Usually they let you know about 30 days in advance. They will let you know that you need to come at a certain date and time and the location, and both of you would need to attend this interview. The immigration officer will decide whether or not they want to call you back together and ask you questions together, or if they want to separate you. They're going to be reviewing your relationship evidence that you've already submitted. At this interview, you'll want to take more updated relationship evidence, as if you haven't approved your relationship enough by now. You have to prove it again. You'll bring more evidence with you. On that interview notice, they'll also give you a list of other documentation you need to bring, typically identity documents like your passport and birth certificate. If you have a work permit, if you've already received your work permit and social security card, for example, they'll have all of that listed in that interview notice. And then the questions they will ask will not only come from your relationship evidence, but also the application you filed. The immigration officer wants to go through that I-485 adjustment of status application, confirm the details with the immigrant beneficiary, and ask questions about immigration history and travel history, as I mentioned. And during the interview, they'll ask you questions as a couple. Typically, they like to ask questions about how you met and when you met, and then really the evolution of your relationship. Meeting family and friends. They'll ask you questions about your wedding and who attended and where was the ceremony. And as I mentioned, I also have a separate video on the top immigration questions that you'll be asked. And you can also check out our free resource center. We have tons of free resources, including the questions, the list of common questions that happen in an immigration interview. If immigration were to decide, though, to waive your interview, then step 5 would be you'd get an approval notice in the mail and your green card. So step 5 could be a different flavor for you depending on whether or not you're scheduled for an interview. But step 5 really is the end of the road. It's that immigration interview or an approval notice. Hopefully the latter of the two, so you don't have to go in and have immigration ask you questions about your relationship. But that is step 5 and the final hurdle of the fiancé visa process. And please be sure to check out my video on 2-year and 10-year green cards. It's important you'll know the difference about both of those. Again, our free resource center is at immigrationforcouples.com. Thanks so much for watching.